Have you ever watched a tutorial for a really gorgeous house, but you've not quite understood where the blocks are meant to go? Well, I'm going to show you how to build an awesome house really easily, block by block. And then I'm going to give you the world download. Don't you go anywhere. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to another episode from me, Avomance. Today, I've started a new world. I'm going to be doing some house tutorials, and I'm going to be using this world as the house tutorial world. And what I want to do is once I've got a few houses on here, and maybe even after every single house that I build, I'm going to create a world download, stick it in the link down in the description below, so you can download the world and have a little play with it, because I thought that might be fun, mightn't it, right? So I'm going to have this really gorgeous open field here. I'm going into shadow. I've got shaders on. Can you tell? It's really quite cool, and I really quite like them, although I'm not going to build in the shaders because I don't want it to get too laggy. But what we're going to do, we're going to crack on with some house building. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to do entirely freestyle houses on this world. And by that mean, I'm not going to do any previous planning. I'm just going to make it up as I go along. However, I am going to be utilising a system that I'm going to be using in every single house, which is I'll be using a 7x7 or a 9x9, depending on the size of the house. And the entire house will be built up of effectively cubes that are either 7x7x5 or 9x9x5 or 9x9x7, depending on the size of the build. That might not make sense right off the top of your head, but hopefully it will make sense moving forwards. I do, however, think we better go on with it with the first build in this series. Now we've got a selection of items here that we're going to use. This won't be everything we use, and it's quite possible that I won't use everything that you see here, but this is a really good way to start what is going to be a relatively rustic house on this one. It's going to be rustic-y, so we've got, you know, different types of wood, and we've got the planks, we've got steps, and we've got slabs. We've got different types of stone. You can see we've got stone, cobblestone, stone bricks, some mossy stone bricks, some andesite. I might get some cracked stone bricks in there as well. It's all very, very good. And we've also got things like oak fence, some ladders, various different types of glass, and obviously the stuff that goes in with some doors and some walls. So lots of different stuff. Let's see what we use and what we don't. Let's crack on with it. So I've turned off the shaders and I've zoomed out a bit so I can see what I'm doing. But doesn't it look different? Really, really different. What we're going to do now is we are going to put a series of squares all around the place. Now the squares are all going to be the same size because you can build up using that single pod module. And as I said earlier, we're going to do it in either 7s or 9s. This particular house we're going to do in 9s. It's going to be a medium to large size house. This is going to be my first one. So that is number 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. And then we carry on making the square this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then carry on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that gives us that first 9x9 square. So the gap in the middle of this square is 7. Then what you can do is you just repeat that square over and over, and you do it in a relatively random way. Now I say relatively random, not completely random. If you do it completely randomly, then it ain't going to work, but do it relatively randomly in a way that looks nice. So I'm going to stick one out this way and maybe one out that way, and we're going to make up basically a series of squares, and I'll show you from the sky what it looks like when I'm done. So we've got here a series of squares. We've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these 9x9 squares, and the edges overlap. So it's not like it's 9 and then another 9. It's 9 and then 9 where the edge overlaps, and you end up with a nice grid. And I've done it relatively randomly. You don't have to do it in this shape, and this is a way to just carry on creating yourself without having to be too restricted by what someone else has done. So this is not exactly a block by block tutorial. This is going to be a demonstration tutorial, but you can follow it block by block if you like. Obviously I'm going to be jumping, otherwise it'll be 4 years long and no one wants that in their life. But this is the kind of array that I've created for the footprint for this house. Then what I've got to do is I've got to make each of these blocks 5 high. So I'll see what I mean. So that's 1. We go 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 high. Because we've gone 9 across, we need to have at least 5 high. You could even do 7 high if you wanted, but 5 I think is plenty. And then once we've done all of these 5 high, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this one as well, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to come across and connect them up like this. If there is a square on the other side, we're not connecting that up. We're only connecting up what is effectively the outer edge. So I'm coming around this way. This one again is an outer edge, so that one gets connected up. But if you can see what I mean, this is not an outer edge, there's another square here, so we're not doing this. But then we're going to get this one 5 high, 2, 3, 4, 4 and 5, get rid of that. And then because this is an outer edge, we're going to get that across too. So you can see we're just going to build up this structure coming all the way round 5 high, and I'll be back when I've done that. You can see what we've done here. We have got it really quite nice as an outline, and that one lonely post in the middle isn't connected to anything because that's inside. But what we're going to do, where we've got this middle section and we've got kind of 4 9x9 squares all stuck together in a bigger square, we're going to raise that up another 5. So with this one being 1, because it's another 5, 2, 3, 4 and 5, we're going to come across on all of these like that, and we're going to create a second level on this side, 3, and we're going to include the middle post, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I'm just going to build this 3, 4 and 5, build this up, and then when I've done that, we're going to build another row all the way around. Again, that one in there is going to be an inner post, for want of a better phrase, so we don't want to be connecting that up in the middle, but we will be using it for something a little bit later. I think I have a plan in my head that I think will possibly work for that. So you can see what we're trying to achieve, a second level that is the same height as the first level, like that. So I'll be back when I've finished. So as you can see, I've not just added a first floor, I've added a second floor. This is ground floor, first floor, second floor. I know in America that is first floor, second floor, third floor, but I'm building this in the UK, so this is the second floor, and that's just the way it is. You have to accept it. But I've taken a big bite out of this corner here just to try and make the shape a little bit more interesting. Now as I did that, I realized that this was becoming far too boxy, so I've wrapped another square around the front from this side here. That wasn't there before, and then around the back here I had exactly the same problem. So what I have done is I've created a 2 high square here to complement this bit as well. So that is going to allow us to have slightly more interesting shape without these huge expanses of wall that are 3 floors high. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put in some cobblestone stairs, and we may find that we're going to have to adjust it as we go. The thing about making these things as you go means that you have to do constant adjustments. This is not a planned house that I designed and have done 3 or 4 times and I'm now doing for you. I'm literally placing the blocks for the first ever time. Seriously, the first ever time. So now what we're going to do, we're going to come and we're going to create a standard gable end. Yep, I did say gable end. I say that a lot in my house tutorials. This is going to be a classic A-frame gable end along here, and it's going to come up to the center just by coming backwards and forwards with steps like that. And because we've got an odd number of blocks, 9 or 7 or whatever it is, that means that we get the right edging on this gable end. It means it doesn't become flat at the top like some can if you go the wrong way. And I reckon I've gone this too far. Look, I've done one too far. There we go. That's better. Upside down there and there. Okay, so that is the classic gable end on that side. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come around this side and we're going to do exactly the same again. And because we're here, it's going to kind of lap in this direction. So if I come out on too far, there we go. There, that's the fella. So we're going to come up exactly the same as we did on the other side. It has to match because we want it to meet up when it comes across in the middle. So let's just get this bit done. So there we go. We've got 2 matching gable ends there. Now this one here, we're going to have a gable end at this end, but it needs to be a slightly different gable end. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some cobblestone slabs. This gable end is going to be shallower. It's still going to start where we want it to here, like that, but it's going to be a shallower edge. So it's going to come up there like that, then it's going to come up there like that. So you can see the kind of the shallow edge we're trying to create here, and then we're going to do the same on this side there. There, that is going to be like that, that can go, and then we're going to have another one there, we're going to have another one there like that, and then that just gives us the ability to pop that one in like that and replace that. So we've got a shallower gable end at the side there. So what's going to happen there is that's going to flow nicely into this roof here, but it's not going to go to the top of the roof. It's going to stop part way, about 3/4 up. And again, that's what we're trying to achieve. If it goes much further than that, it just doesn't look quite right. Then what we're going to do on these bottom ones This bottom one here is going to have a different gable end again. We're going to do upside down steps on both ends like this, but then we're going to build it up so as it is a higher point. So we need a cobblestone block. I'm going to shove a cobblestone block on that side, cobblestone block on that side, then stick stair there, upside down stair there, cobblestone block, stair there, upside down stair there, and a cobblestone block. And we're going to carry on like that on both sides until it meets in the middle exactly the same way. Stair, cobblestone stair, and block. So you can see the pattern we're trying to make. Now what that's going to do is that's going to come up beyond this point here, and that's going to stop this side of the house, this 2-floor section of the house here, looking basically too big, basically making it not stick out like a sore thumb, because this gable end will effectively cover it up, and it just makes for a little bit more interesting on the eye. There, and then we get that like that, and that like that. So you get quite a nice looking gable end that's quite tall. And on this side we're going to do a wraparound roof, so it's basically going to have just one slope that goes up. It's not going to have an A-frame at the edge, it's going to have one single slope. So it's going to come up like that, and all we're going to do is, and I'm going to test this to see how high it goes before I commit to it, because it might be that it doesn't quite work. So let's give it a go. If we go this way, I think it might come up a little high. So I think we're going to have to make it probably a combination of the shallow one and the standard A-frame. So let's give it a go. There and there. Let's finish it off. See, I can see already that is going to be too high because it's going to be above this level. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that out, and we are going to make basically a combination of the two roofs that we've already done, which means that we're going to have that like that, and then we're going to come up again like that. So we've got stairs at the front, and then it's going to come up kind of one at a time this way. I'll fix all this in a minute, and this should be just the right height, should be just underneath that frame. Yes, it is. So we're quite happy with that. Then what I need to do is I need to get rid of that one. So that's going to be like that. That's got to be like that. That's got to be like that. There we go. That's got to get rid of. Shove that under like that. That's got to get rid of. That's going to get rid of. That's got rid of. Have I done this right? I think I have got away with it because I'm going to put a step there. Okay, so we've got the slope coming across and kind of curving down at the end. So it's straight and then it curves down a little bit more like that, which gives quite a nice effect, I think. So we're going to do exactly the same on the other side here, and then we'll also do a different roof here. And this roof is going to be basically a wraparound roof like this to that point there, and then it's going to kind of slope off to a point in the middle using again a gradual slope. So I'm going to carry on doing that. So basically we got that's going to go. Can you understand what I mean? I think I'm going to need to show you this one because it is a little bit more complicated. So in wood we're going to get basically this coming around like this, and then we're going to use slabs in exactly the same way as I did on the other side, and we're going to build out so as it comes up one every now and again. So like that. Hang on, get rid of that. Do you see what I mean? So then that's going to come along. That's going to be like this. There. This is going to be like this. There. This is going to come around like this. Like that, and so on and so forth. So once I've done all of these roofs, I will be back. So all the roofs are on, but we've not just finished the final little bit of detail. You can see the middle of the roofs are finished off with a block that stretches all the way along the ridge of the roof. What we're going to just shove an upside down set of stairs in the same block that you've trimmed it in. So if you've used cobble, use a cobble step. If you've used brick, use a brick step. Whatever it is you've used, you need to top it off with a little overhang like that, and it just makes for a slightly nicer looking detail. Same on there. And any other one up here, we got one up here, look, okay, up there like that. These stairs are basically a skirt all the way around, so they've not got one. And similarly here, that is a skirt all the way around, so that hasn't got one. I've missed one there, look, I've missed one. Right, so on this one, it's not a stair, it is a slab, and you just bring it out one block further. So we've got all the roofs are finished. Now at this point, you can decide, where is my front door going to be? Now I think my front door naturally lends itself to that area there, but I did want the sun to be shining on my front door, so I may actually decide to put a front door there. But in reality, no, I think we are coming in here for our front door. What I am ever going to do is put it onto peaceful, because we've got some unwanted house guests. Once you've decided that you've finished these roofs off, next step is to trim all the way around the outer edge. So the outer edge being anything that's got an outer wall. So not that wall, with a block. And this, I recommend you to use a block that is relatively easy to mine out. You don't need a silk touch pick to get it back, but will be part of your final wall. So I'm going to make walls out of stone or stony things. So I'm just going to use cobble, because cobble is dead easy. And you're going to trim on the inside of these posts. So you can see we've got the posts, then you go one in, and that's where the row is. And come behind the posts all the way around and literally just put a single row. Don't worry about making any spaces, because we can mine it out again in a minute. So that's going to come around like that, and it's going to come all the way along on the inside, so it's a continual wall. So just like that, so you can see we've got a continual wall all the way around the outside edge of this house. There isn't a wall that we're missing. Now we can knock some of these out when we do the doors. We might want to put a couple of doors on here, and obviously there aren't going to be any windows on the lowest level, but when we do the next level up, we're going to put windows in. But before we do that, we want to take out the floor. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to remove one layer all the way around on the inside of this, because no one wants green on the inside of their house, do they? Absolutely not. So I'm going to get rid of all of this, and I'm going to replace it with red wool. And the reason I'm going to use red wool, one, it's relatively easy to get hold of, and two, it makes for a really nice looking internal carpet. Now you could use maybe clay or terracotta blocks as they are now if you wanted to, but do you want to be walking around on clay, or do you want to be walking around on wool? It is much nicer, and you're going to basically build up the entire area inside here with wool. But what you want to do in some areas, you want to be giving yourself a various area of glowstone. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glowstone in here like this, and what we're going to do is we're going to create some carpet in. So on top of the glowstone, when you get there, what I want you to do is put carpet, and obviously you can create whatever shape or size carpets you want inside here to make it look nice. Can be any color you want, whatever you like, but that will allow the glowstone to give light to the room or the rooms, but without you physically seeing the glowstone. It gets nice and hidden. So I'm going to carry on with that, and when I've finished, I'll come back. So I finished inside, and we have got a mass of white carpet. Not all of it is glowstone, just the odd bit, you know, so we're not going over the top with the glowstone, so it's not too expensive in survival, because I mean woolen carpet's dead easy. Glowstone, however, is less so. Look, we've got a bit of glowstone every now and again, and that means that you get plenty of light. Now you've got an option. You could, if you wish, make this all open plan down here, or you can segment it off. I'm actually not going to make that decision at the moment. I'm going to do that later. What we're going to do now, however, is we are going to get ourselves some doors. You need to decide, what are you going to make the underside of the door? For me, I'm going to make it wood. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to make that wood, and I'm going to stick a door from the inside, Avomance, like that. And then we've got a back door, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to replace that wall with wood, and from the inside we're going to pop in a door. So we've got a front door and a back door, plenty of space. Now it is time to build up this outside wall, and what we're going to do is we're going to get a few different types of stone. So I'm just going to collect up these stone types like this, more cobble also. So we've got, look, quite a few different types, 6 different types of stone, and we're going to basically randomly create a wall out of these different types of stone. We're going to take out some of the cobble as we go. We're going to shove bits in there. We're going to leave some bits open, so there, for example, and there we're going to leave those bits open, because I also want to put in some glass, so that is going to have a little window either side of that. Let's get rid of some of this grass. that's getting in the way of my glass. And then we're going to come along here and we're going to have a nice long window on each side of this, I reckon. There, and there. And we're going to just fill in with the kind of stone of choice, whatever stone you fancy. Shove it in here, feel free, and don't forget to randomly change the stone that you've got on the underside of this, otherwise you'll end up with too much cobble. So we've got cobble there. I'm going to take out that one. Actually, I'm going to replace that with a cracked stone brick, and perhaps that one can become a cobble like that, and just carry that on all the way around. Don't forget, on the inside as well, you've got 3 blocks here that you could easily miss if you weren't careful. So make sure you fill those out like that, and then come down on the inside. Make sure that again you randomly take out some of these blocks, shove in the most appropriate replacement block like that, and you end up with a nice feeling. And I'm going to carry on doing that all the way around. And what I'm going to do is I'm just basically randomly going to decide, where do I want my windows. Windows generally 3 wide, absolutely plenty, and I'm going to have plenty of light coming in there. I'm going to leave that actually completely unwindowed. I'm going to stick a window in that one. I'm going to leave that one unwindowed. I'm going to stick a window in that one. I'm going to stick a window in that one. And again, like the other side, I'm going to stick one window either side of that. Leave that unwindowed. I have 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put a big window in that one, I think, actually. And I'm going to leave that one unwindowed because you've got a big old window right there. So then I'm just going to carry on and fill in all of these walls in exactly the same way as I did before, and I'll be back when I've finished all of the walls up to the level of the windows. So again, we've created some interesting spaces with some nice wood beams coming across. We've got the low level open ceiling bit here, and all I've done really is just block up using a single wood block, just oak wood, and put in some lights. If I come up here at the top, we've put in lights with trapdoors, and I've put some oak fences on either side of the lights. It makes, for when you're down here, actually makes a really interesting looking effect up in the ceiling. And here we've got some open spaces at the ends of the gables that we are now going to fill up with just plain old glass. Just going to stick some glass in there just to seal it up. But again, it makes for a nice indented pattern, gives a little bit of depth and texture. Yep, I said it, depth and texture to the build. We've got a cross-shaped one here that we're just going to fill in like that, just to make it slightly more interesting looking. And I think that might be it. So if we come on the outside, and we can see what it looks like from out here. And you're thinking, Avo, that's all very well and good, but it looks extremely blocky. Like, what's all that? It's just big old flat surfaces that you haven't got anything on. And you know what? I agree with you. Like this, it looks blooming awful, frankly, but we're going to make that change. I'm just going to shove in these windows here. Yeah, we're going to change that completely, and we're going to do it by adding windows, adding detail, and things like that. So we need to decide, where are we going to add some windows, where are we going to add some detail. Now, first off, we've got a really, oh look, it looks like I've missed a bit here, look. Ooh, let's get that one in there like that. There we go. Right, so first off, we're going to decide, do we want a door in here? And the answer is yes, we do. We want a door. That's going to be great. So that's going to come out into this area here. So there's going to be a door. So I just get my doors. Where's my doors? Come on the inside and shove a door. Oh, that's not the door. Shove a door in there. So that now tells us that this area here needs to be a floor. So you can see how making a decision leads to us having to do other things and making other decisions. So that's going to be a room or access point there that takes us to that door. So now we can come out and we've got a nice open area here, and we can shove some fencing all around this. I'm not going to do it on the wood because it doesn't look quite right, but we're going to have fencing all around the inside that area there. And if we wish, we can change that block. But you know what? I think I might leave it as it is, just to add a little bit more detail. I've not decided entirely. I might change my mind. I reserve the right. But that, I think, for now, looks okay. So that gives us a floor there. And then we can make other decisions as well. I quite like the fact that that is nice and open beamed, but I think 2 open beams is too much. So if we come along, we want a floor to be, where's that? Floor to be on this level. So what we can do is we can come along here, remove that beam like that, and create another floor there. That does two things. One, it gives us another floor for another level, but it also separates. Underneath here, we've got the wooden wall versus the stone wall. So it gives us a natural separation, and that works really, really quite well. Let's get rid of that there because that looks a little bit odd. So you can see what we've done there. That makes sense. So then we can decide, okay, so where else do we want to have some open or closed spaces? I like this open. You can't really make anything above that because it's just a little bit too low when you get close to the edge. So I quite like that being open. But some of these other areas, I think, could be a little bit more closed off. For example, round here. I think that we need some stairs to get up to the next level around about here. And you can just start to make these decisions as you're moving along. So here naturally lends itself to another floor. So we're going to shove another floor in there. Again, in oak block, so as it matches up the walls. Don't worry that it looks a little bit, I don't know, monotone, I suppose would be one way of describing it. And then, so as you've got some access, you need to make sure that you complete a joining section, so this bit can join up with that bit. That then starts to lend itself to where we're going to have some stairs, and I think we could have stairs lurking around this area somewhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit in some stairs here. Where's my, I've not got any oak stairs at the moment, so let's get some oak stairs out here like that. Right, so we're going to shove oak stairs, and I think we can have fairly grand oak stairs. No, not upside down, because we can have it 3 wide. And the reason I go 3 wide is because it's a big old house. You can accommodate a 3 wide step. So let's do backwards and forwards to create some steps here. Like this. Bump, bump, bump. We can create that there, and that there. And then that there, that there. And that naturally lends itself. We've got, let's get rid of that. That there, and that there. Yes, and I know we've got some gaps there, and we can, if we wish, we could dig that out like this, get rid of that, shove some upside down steps in, or at least something in there. Oops, I've done it wrong. Something in there. The carpet's obviously getting away with it being upside down steps. We could put maybe some chests there. Let's pop that back in there. That there, that there. That there, that there, that there. I'm going to cover it up for now, but if we want to, we could put chests or something in there, because obviously it doesn't look quite right like that. And then we can grab some oak, and we can line this bit up here with a bit of oak blockage, like that. And we can do the same on the other side, because I think it lends itself to it, that sort of structure, having a nice oak supporting beam for those stairs, like that. There we go. So we can also put perhaps another one there and another one there. And you know what I might do? Let's put one and create effectively a like that. So we've got steps going up all the way. I wonder if we should put there like that. I think that looks quite nice, actually. What do you reckon, people? In the comments, was that an error? I think it looks all right. And we've got some fairly grand steps going up to the next level. And then we can carry on with this next level. We can either make a bit of mezzanine, or we can make it a bit closed off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on with this a little bit more, because I think this bit needs to continue up as another part of the next level. And when I've decided what all the levels are going to be, I'll build them in, and I will be back with you, because I think this is going to take some work. We have a lot of light going on inside here. Not only have we got the light that's coming up under the carpet, but we've fixed in a number of lamps using glowstone, either into the walls or hanging from the walls with a nice little, because if you use a fence here, look right in the corner, it looks like a light fitting. It's quite effective. And then if you come up, oh look, so just before, we've got a little cupboard under the stairs like I put in there. Amazing. And then we're going to come around here, and we're going to go upstairs, and we've got, again, more lighting, either dangling or hanging up. You know what, I might actually, that's not consistent with the other one, so we want that to be consistent. But yeah, I think it's starting to look okay. Then we've got another set of steps coming up here to more lighting that comes out to the area up here that we did earlier on. So it's looking okay. I'm actually not going to do anything more to the inside of this house. I'm sending the world for this house into the ether through a link, a media file link that you can then collect from the description of this video and I'd be very interested to know what you do with the inside of this house. I'm not an inside of the house person. I'm an outside of the house person. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to try and make the outside of the house look nice and complete and finished and not too blocky, because at the moment these just look a little bit too blocky for my liking. So we're going to make a start, and we're going to start to put some detail on some of these big old walls that we've got here. We need to decide, actually from the inside probably is best, isn't it? Which of these big old walls are we going to put windows into? So if we come upstairs, we've got loads of windows downstairs. If we come upstairs, where are we going to put the windows? We need to make a decision. Where are the windows going to go? Is the window going to be here? Does that look like a good place for a window? Looking out here? That could be a good place for a window, so we can shove that in there. We can get our glass. And that is one window. Hooray. And then we're going to come up here. Would this be a good place for a window around here? I don't know. Let's have a look out. What can we see? That is inside still. You wally Avo. Right, so what about here? Is this a good place for a window? That could be a good place for a window. Let's have a go. Let's play around and see whether or not we can place some windows that make sense. And if we can, where do they go? So that looks like a nice place for a window as well. Let's do that there. And how about here? Whoop, wrong one. So we want to put that back like that. Open, open, open. That, and that. Okay, so we've got a number of windows that have formed up. We've got plenty of light coming in from both floors. So let's now go outside and see how that has changed things on the outside. So we've got some windows there. That works. I think these windows need to be bigger. Looking at it from the outside, they can be really nice, huge windows in fact on that side. We've not got any windows there, but that's okay because we've got a window above and below. We've got, again, a little offset window here. I wonder whether or not we need to change that up a little bit to make it like that. I think that's better, definitely. And maybe we want to stick a window in here. What's the other side of this wall? The other side of that wall is a big old hole, but that's okay. We can shove a window in there as well. Then what I'm going to do is on each window, I'm going to wrap on the outside 2 trapdoors like this, which will act as shutters for the windows. Like this here. We'll do this on the bottom floor windows as well in a second. But what I'm also wanting to do is these areas that have not got windows. I want to put some detail into those. I'm going to use some spruce stairs on this one. And what we're going to do is we're going to come right to the end and shove that in there. Bring that up there like that. And we're going to make a decorative shape here that I hope, I've not done this, so I don't know if it works or not. So this is just in my mind. This seemed like a good idea at the time. So let's see whether or not my mind has gone completely mad. Now let's get it right. There. That like that. That like that. Now theoretically this should fit like that, like that. So we've got, that looks all right actually. I'm quite pleased about that. So we've got a nice V shape on that one. We're looking for others that have got the same pattern. So let's get in here and let's shove this like that, like that, like that, like that, and like that, and then do exactly the same on the other side. There, 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 and there, and get ourselves our slabs and shove a slab there and slab there. Right, that window's all wonky. What's going on with that? Bang, bang, bosh, bosh, bish, bash, bang, and bang. Right, so that window's better there like that. We can then get our wooden trapdoor, shove them either side like that. That works. Again, this window's all on the wonk. That won't do at all. So let's get that there like that, and that there like that, and like that. Again, wooden trapdoor either side like that. We've got another open space here. Need to get my steps. So you get the idea. So where there is a window, I'm obviously not going to make this shape. Where there isn't a window, I am going to make this shape. And I'm going to carry on doing this all the way around. And then what I'll do is I'll also do some other detailing as well. And we'll be pretty much there in terms of the house itself. And I'm quite pleased with the way it's come out, given that we've sort of made it up as we've gone along, really. It's just been in my head. So get that there like that. No, that was never going to work, was it? That's there like that, there and there. Okay, so we've got, you can see how it's starting to build up like that. I'm not going to do that wall because we'll do something else with that wall there. That wall's obviously got a hole, that's got windows, that's got windows. We've got a whole wall there that we need to play with, and that's got a big old wide window, and that looks quite nice actually, doesn't it? That big old wide window, like that very much. And then we're just going to fill up some of the detailing in here. So what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to start off by shoving a fence in where we've not got any window on a wall. I'm going to shove one of these fences in here on either side to start the detailing up. I am also going to demonstrate what I was going to do with these guys. So every time we've got any window whatsoever on the outside, it's getting shuttered just like that. Then we're coming around. That's got a big old open space like that. Give that a little bit more depth, and we're just going to carry on doing that. Once I've finished doing all these little bits of detail, I'll be back, and we can start to decide what the finishing touches are going to be for this house, because look at it already, it's starting to really come together nicely. And that final little bit of detail there is done. So we've put a little bit of spruce wood fence underneath the cross window just to ping it out a little bit, because we couldn't put obviously any trapdoors on that. All the other windows have been trapdoored. The bottom stony walls have been given a little bit of structure with some steps. I've used cobble steps and then just standard stone brick steps, and either side of those I've shoved a oak wood block with a couple of oak wood leaves on either side to make it look like a little planter. I've put feet on the wooden struts just to, again, makes it look like it's got a little bit more support. I think that works really quite well. And then if we come up, we can see the finish on the top here. We've kind of emulated what we did downstairs with some spruce wood steps with spruce wood fence in there to bring out that wall, and then we put some windows in by that door as well. I'm not going to do any more detail over and above that. Again, I am going to be popping the link for this world in the description. It's going to be downloadable. I'd be really very interested to see what you guys can do with it. You can see I've put a little chimney on the top. I've not put any cobwebs coming out of that like you would do off of smoke, because again, this is for you to finish. Basically, the whole point of these house tutorials is you come along, modify and finish what I have done. So that is what it looks like, and that is what you're going to get. Let's switch it in to see what it looks like on those shaders that we were playing with earlier. I think in the shader pack, this is sushi shader pack. I think in the shader pack, this looks really rather nice. I like the way the wood comes through on this particular shader pack, and the lights are fairly soft. Obviously, we've got the sun's on the wrong side of us for this particular side of the house, but I think that's looking all right. Tell me what you think about this house in the comments below. It would be great to get an opinion off of you to see whether or not this kind of thing is something you'd like me to carry on doing. Also, if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button. It'll be great to know whether or not you've enjoyed it, and I'll carry on making them. Also, if you've not done it already, please do hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell, and that way you won't miss any of the videos moving forwards, whether it's house tutorials or something else. I hope to see you in another video really soon. You take it easy now. Bye.